Hi y'all, I'm Miss Stacy. Welcome to Stacy's Homestead. And I had a bunch of caramelized onions left over from our canning session the other day. So my plan was to make French onion soup, but I made a mistake, and so now we're making French onion soup with pumpkin in it. It actually turned out really delicious. So as I was making my French onion soup, I mistakenly added a frozen bag of pumpkin thinking it was chicken broth. And it turned out to be a lucky mistake because it tastes awesome. So that's our recipe today, French onion soup with pumpkin. So come watch what I did. So yep, you can see, I'll show you what I did, bring you on in and show you what I did, and you can see where I made the mistake, but it tastes awfully good. And so now I'm at the tail end where we're going to can it up, but I'll show you how we made this. Okay, so here is our pot of caramelized onions. Now I finished these yesterday, and so I just kept them on low all night, keeping them warm all night long, and they got even darker, so it's perfect. Look at that. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to add, see there's nice some broth in the bottom. I'm gonna add some granulated garlic, or you could do fresh garlic, but this is such a big batch, I'm just doing granulated garlic. And I just, usually when I add seasonings, I always just sprinkle enough to do a top layer. That's my thing. So, you could be probably about a couple teaspoons or tablespoons, I don't know. And we're gonna taste it after a while, but just a bit of garlic. You don't want too much garlic in that garlic soup. Just enough to add some flavor, okay? Now, I have some frozen, a pot of frozen, I'm trying to defrost it here. Chicken broth, beef broth I made. It's really good, and I canned most of it, but then I froze a few bags knowing I would need it right away and didn't want to waste the canning lids, you know. So, but I'm trying to, I think it's enough. I'm trying to get it enough where I can open this bag and plop this in there. Get this bag opened up. There we go. There we go. I'm ripping the bag up, that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to put my chicken broth in here. Make sure I don't get any plastic pieces. Yes, defrosted it just enough. I didn't freeze it flat. That's a mistake sometimes because you get the plastic folded on itself. There we go. Alright, so we're going to put that in there. I use chicken broth and beef broth. So we got that in there. Now we're gonna let this melt down. And I don't have fresh thyme, and I don't want a bunch of dry thyme in my canner. I just don't want a canned thyme in this. I want it to be without herbs floating around in it. So I put my dried thyme in a satchel, about 2 tablespoons of dried thyme. Putting it in there, okay? We're gonna let that cook in there. You don't have to do that, but I'm canning it, so I just don't want the herb. I just don't want the herb in my soup floating around. Sometimes you never know. In different recipes, some herbs can take on a bitter tone, and I just don't want that to happen. Alright, now we're gonna, I have some canned beef from 2019. I'm gonna put in there. Let's get that. Ooh, good seal here, and we're gonna pour that in here. And then I'm gonna rinse this out. Use all the good stuff. This is beef bone broth. This is beef bone broth. It's good stuff. Alright, I'm gonna put another jar in. I just gotta get it out. I'll get another jar. So 2 quarts of beef bone broth we're gonna put in here, okay? Let me get that. Alright, so if you don't have your beef broth, you can use Better Than Bouillon. I'm still going to use some. So I don't have the Better Than Bouillon, but I like this beef bouillon flavor. And we're going to wait until it cooks a while before we add this. But here's my other quart of beef broth. Alright. And then we're gonna put a bit of granulated garlic. Oh, I already did that. Alright, so what I like to do is, alright guys, so what I like to add into my beef broth when or my French onion soup, usually when I make the beef broth separately, I put a tablespoon of tomato paste. Okay, so we're gonna put just a tad of tomato paste in here, and I'm gonna put it in a separate bowl and whisk it in a bowl real fast. Hey guys, so my secret ingredient is a tablespoon of tomato paste. I usually add this to my beef stock and it tastes really good, and I find it gives a good flavor to my French onion soup. So we're gonna put this in and add a little broth to mix it up, and then we're gonna add it back, okay? So I don't do like barbecue sauces like some people, and some people will put Worcestershire in. I don't like that flavors. It's not very appealing. Some people put vinegar in. Well, this gives a good taste. So we're just gonna add this in now. This gives a good layered, base layer taste. And you don't want too much, just put a tablespoon for this big old thing right here. So if you're doing smaller batches, probably half of that, half of that. Just gives a nice undertone layer. Okay. Then we're gonna put some more water in. Let's get some water here. Alright, I'm going to put a couple quarts of water in. Alright. I'll turn our heat up in here to about 200. And we got to add our Cabernet Sauvignon. I don't pronounce it very good. It's a dry red wine. I don't have any brandy, so I can't get these. The Chardonnay would be good. I don't have any of that. So the Chardonnay is a white wine. Then you can do what's that other word for brandy? The other word for brandy, it starts with a C. I forget. Let me get my wine opener here. There we go. And we're going to put half of this bottle in. Okay? Because this is a 1.5 milliliter, so half of it is a smaller bottle. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna mix this goodness up here. And we're gonna let this cook for a bit. And let all the flavors meld. And then I'm gonna get a bay leaf. I'm gonna put a bay leaf in here. And a big old container of bay leaf. And put just one bay leaf in. Gives another layer of flavor here. There we go. Nice big bay leaf. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some additional onion flavor because I like to do that. Just a bit of onion flavor, and we're gonna just put a bit on top because dehydrated onion gives just a more deeper onion taste. All right. You know how I do. I just do enough to layer the top of the whole thing. There. We're not adding salt in because the bouillon and everything in my homemade chicken broth has its own seasoning. So it might already have just enough salt. So we're gonna let this cook, and we'll probably end up adding some more water to it after it cooks a bit, okay? It looks really good. I'm just gonna give it a little taste right now. Just to see. I'm gonna get a spoon. Alright, let's just taste it how it is before it cooks. Definitely tastes the wine, and it definitely needs seasoning, like a little bit of bouillon already. So I'm just gonna put a bit of bouillon in for that taste. There we go. And then just let it sit here and cook for a while. And we'll come back after about an hour. Alright, it's been about a half hour. We're going to check on it. Not an hour. Half hour later. I forgot to add a little bit of pepper. Just a tiny bit of black pepper. Not much. You know, just maybe about a tablespoon for this bit. If you were doing a smaller batch, maybe about less than a half a tablespoon, a fourth. So now we're gonna let it sit for another half hour. Let's taste it real fast. Let's taste it real fast. I'm slow cooking it in the roaster, guys. If you're on the stove, it'd be a lot faster, but I like to do it this way. So good. Super good. Ah, I love it. Okay, we'll come back in another half hour or so. Alright guys, so I made a mistake. I thought this was chicken broth. And look it, I went to throw it away and it says pumpkin for pumpkin curry soup. For pumpkin curry soup, it was pumpkin. It wasn't chicken broth. Why did I assume that was chicken broth? So we're gonna have a new thing here. I just invented a new thing. I invented French onion soup pumpkin and pumpkin. The French and onion pumpkin soup. That's what we're making, okay? So we're just switching it up here. Oh my goodness gracious. I gotta put some chicken broth in that. I'm like, something's missing. Doesn't taste like chicken broth. It tastes really good though. Like I didn't even tell. I didn't even tell I put pumpkin in, actually. That's interesting, except the broth isn't as clear. Alright guys. New title to the video. French pumpkin soup. French onion pumpkin soup. That's what we're calling it. French onion pumpkin soup. Hey, it's gonna be good for you. Alright guys, let's put chicken broth in then. Okay y'all, I invented a new soup. French onion pumpkin soup. Woo! So, since we didn't add any chicken broth, we're gonna add chicken broth. So, honey.
What?
Guess what I did?
What?
Why do I always mess up? But I messed up in a good way because it tastes good. get them out of here. The flies are coming in. So I was like, I'm gonna use this bag of chicken broth that I froze, because I froze a bunch of them and I stacked them on top of each other. And I went in the freezer to make sure I used them all. I was like, oh, I have one more left. Huh. And so I defrosted it, or I didn't even wait for it to melt. Okay, I got it out frozen, and I put it in here, and I just threw the bag away, and it says processed pumpkin for curry soup. It's my frozen processed pumpkin. Yeah. But I didn't even know. I wouldn't have even known. It tastes really good. Like, I would have never known. I was like, it's missing like the chicken broth taste. I'm gonna have to put some chicken bouillon in or something. Maybe it was weak chicken broth I made. You know?
Yeah.
And
you should mark your bags.
I did. That's why I read the bag just now.
Wow. Is Bit still sleeping?
No.
Oh.
So, now I'm having to remake my video. I have to remarket it as French onion pumpkin soup.
You just wake up?
Alright. So, because it is missing a chicken flavor, I'm like, this is good stuff. I just need a little bit more chicken bouillon, maybe. We're gonna open a can of chicken bone broth I made in 520. Add it in and see if I get that missing flavor now. But the good thing about pumpkin and squashes in general, it takes on whatever flavor you want it to. So it doesn't really have a bold flavor, so that's good. That's why I didn't notice. When I was tasting it, I didn't notice a difference. All I noticed was that I was missing some chicken flavor. So we add that in just now. And then we'll see. It's probably going to be the most delicious soup I've ever had. I'm going to have to make some regular French onion after this now. Oh, let's give it a little taste here. A lot better. Alright. Alright guys, so I ended up putting a little bit more chicken bouillon in for the chicken flavor I needed. Just like a tablespoon, okay? So, and then that can of chicken broth. But, and then I had to put a dash of sugar, just about a half a teaspoon of sugar in here. I never put sugar in my French onion soup, but I think the pumpkin, it wasn't a very sweet pumpkin. It might have absorbed this, the sugars. So after I just put that little bit of sugar in, it tastes perfect. The only reason why I know the pumpkin's in here is the texture has a little bit of a pumpkin grittiness, but it's going away as I cook it. Not anymore. Now it's like, it's barely there. And then when you I pressure can this, it's going to totally dissolve. Okay guys, so we're going to put a thickening agent in here. Now, you can put clear gel or ThermFlow. I'm using ThermFlow. It's not recommended to can flour or cornstarch, although some people do. If there's a little bit in my stuff, I do too. Like, I don't care, but when I'm using a thickening agent, I like to use ThermFlow or clear gel. So, if you were to make this on the stove and thicken it and you weren't canning it, you would put the flour in with your onions when you were caramelizing it, okay? And then your broth. But because ThermFlow and clear gel, you have to add when your liquid is hot. I don't know if you can see my stuff. Here, I'll show you. Alright, so my liquid is nice and hot. And the texture, it's really, really watery. It's what I want. But we're going to thicken it up just so I like to have a good little bit of thickness. It's not going to cause a density issue because it'll still be pretty thin, So we're going to add this in here. Yeah, well, you don't want to thicken anything to where it causes a density issue, okay? Just, you know, it still has to be thin. I'm just trying to make it not watery. So, put this in here. It was a half a cup of Thermoflow I added to this roaster. Holds 22 quarts, but I'm gonna let it boil down. These little stringy things, I thought they were onion. Or they are onion. I was like, is this pumpkin? That's why, because I'm canning this, I wanted to cut my onions into big pieces. If I wasn't canning it, I would have cut the onions thinner. And a French onion cut. Did you know that's why they call it French onion soup? Because of the cut of the onion? But I didn't cut the onion that way. So technically, especially with this pumpkin, it's not French onion soup anymore. But it tastes really delicious, like super good. It tastes just like French onion soup, but with a little dimension, added dimension. It's hard to pinpoint. You know, it's the pumpkin I know now, but it's so good. Okay, we're gonna let that thicken up a little bit, and then we're gonna can it. All right, guys, so we're all done, and I ended up having to add an extra amount of onion powder, and garlic powder, and a little bit more of chicken bouillon. But it tastes super delicious, you know, because that pumpkin in here, it just takes some extra flavoring, you know, but it really is delicious, tastes like French onion soup, and it's healthy for you. You know how nutritious pumpkin is? Now I know what to do with another recipe for pumpkin. It's so good. I can't wait to eat this. It's delicious. Now I probably am going to add some extra thyme in the jars because, like I said, with the pumpkin in there, you just need to put more spices in than you normally would, but you still get the same taste. All right, so we're going to can it up. You know, I think I'm going to add a dash of salt. I think it needs a little more salt because I don't want to add no more chicken bouillon or anything. So we're going to add a little salt. I add my salt last. Remember, when I put seasoning in, I always do it to cover the top and then stir it in. So, it smells so good. I can't wait to get a bowl of this with my cheese and my baguette. Yeah, I need that extra little bit of salt. That's good stuff. All right, so we're gonna can it up now. All right, guys, so let's jar it up. You know, I was thinking of what taste this gives, and I was trying to place it because it's like French onion soup with it, like another layer of taste, and it's like I added vegetable soup to it. That's what it's like. So, hey, this is, if you use vegetable soup, you know what I'm talking about. Like a vegetable broth instead of a beef broth, or mixed it. So, it's good. All right, we're gonna jar it up. So, I'm not gonna add any extra seasoning in the jars. You're just gonna put it just like this. We're doing quart jars, and it's gonna pressure can for 90 minutes, okay, guys? So 1-inch headspace. I'm gonna fill up all these jars up. 1-inch headspace. Then, you know what I'm gonna do? I have a lot more onions left, so I'm probably gonna do a French onion soup with mushroom. And then maybe a regular French onion soup. Hopefully this will be gone. I just don't want all kinds, just French onion soup on my shelves though, so. Yeah, we're gonna do a French onion mushroom soup next. And then when this is gone, then I'll can up a regular French onion soup without the pumpkin. Hey, but this is something good to know, that pumpkin's good in French onion soup. Always trying to figure out new things to do with my processed pumpkin, because I always process a lot of pumpkin every year. I got my pumpkin curry soup. I got my pumpkin chili I like to make. I haven't done a video on that yet. And then, you know, of course, your sweet stuff with pumpkins. That was too full. But your savory, or not savory, your sweet things like, you know, your pumpkin breads and pies. But I like savory dishes with pumpkin. You know? Let's just get some of this broth out of here. Alright, I'm gonna can all these up. We're gonna clean the rims, put the lids on. We're using all flats, and then put them in the canner for 90 minutes. Alright, while we're waiting for that, we are toasting up some baguettes or French bread here. Put olive oil on both sides and put it in the toaster oven and toast it, make it nice and crispy. Alrighty guys, this has to be one of the most delicious things. It's so good, it just kicks it up a notch. So we're gonna put our toasted toasties on here. I wanna put as many as I can in. This is my favorite part. I think I could fit like 4 in mine. There we go, yes. And then I have 2 different types of cheese. We got Swiss cheese and Monterey Jack. I have that Grillo, I think that's how you say it, but I don't want to take it out right now. I'm going to save it for the mushroom soup I would make tomorrow. But okay, I think I need more cheese. It needs more cheese. It needs more cheese. Rivet cheese all over it. There we go. And then let's put it in the, we're going to put it in the toaster oven for broil, okay? Sorry, the canner is real loud. Alright guys, here it is. It looks delicious. I'm not going to taste it right now because I have pictures I want to take, but isn't it beautiful? So, alright guys. About done. I made me a nice bowl. I already took my photos, so now we'll try it. Come over here so I don't burn myself. I have a habit of burning myself. Looks good. It's so hot, I don't know if I could bite into it. I'm gonna break it up so I can get. I like to make a mess. Get the bread all. Alright. My first pick is Carol. I'm so hot. It's so hot. It's like 110 today and I decided to can. And the humidity level in my kitchen is off the charts. And eat soup. It's really good. Get some onion on there. Honestly, that pumpkin could be my new favorite. So good. It's French onion soup with a beautiful undertone of like a vegetable of some kind, and it's pumpkin. So I'll show you my jars when it's all done. I think I'm gonna name it Pumpkin French Onion Soup. Yeah. All right, guys. So our pumpkin French onion soup is done. All done here. And then I have the other half of the pot to can, and I'll do another round of quarts. Where's my jar lifter? There it is. I hear some hissing in one of them. I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute. Never touch it if it's hissing. Wait until it quiets down. So we'll do that. Alright guys, so our pumpkin French onion soup's done. We're going to take it out now. It stopped hissing. Never touch it if you hear jars hissing. Oh, could splatter all over you. Alright. Looks good. Lid's already sealed, a lot of them. These ones didn't seal yet. These ones haven't sealed yet. No siphoning, so that's nice. Last one. There we go. Alright guys, so that's how you turn a mistake into something new. So we'll just talk to you later and hit the like button, okay? Bye bye.